All right. Hello, everyone. Today, our marketing team at ABC presenting a comprehensive marketing strategy for ABC to launch its microbond platform in Detroit. We have a unique opportunity here, and Detroit has asked us to pilot program to fund local bridge repairs. And our challenge is clear. We need to convince a community that has historically been excluded from financial markets to trust a new blockchain based platform. So, our strategy is grounded in distinct academic data sources, economic forecasts, community engagement research, and market analysis. And I will walk you through how ABC can fund these bridges while building a scalable model for inclusive financing across the city. Okay, about market analysis, let's start with the market reality. Detroit faces significant infrastructure challenges. The city's population has declined substantially, leaving behind infrastructure built for a much larger population. And this creates a maintenance burden that strains municipal budget. But there's a second problem that is often hidden: systematic bias in the bond market. So communities like Detroit with large black populations are routinely charged about 0.19% more in interest on their bonds than similar, mostly white communities, even when the underlying financial risk is the same. So over the life of a typical bond, that small sounding difference translates into millions of extra dollars in interest that flow to investors instead of staying in the city budget to fund local services and improvements. Additionally, according to academic research papers, roughly 18% of US households remain underbanked. They avoid traditional banking due to minimum balance requirements and fees. This tells us something critical about the market. There is a trust gap, and residents feel excluded from financial systems, and the city feels exploited by the financial systems. So, our primary residence requirements, based on this analysis, is a trusted low barrier investment opportunity with visible local impact. Okay, so who should we target? We can target everyone effectively, obviously. So, but our analysis shows Detroit's real income is recovering, but remains below pre-pandemic levels. So this data comes from a report published by University of Michigan in 2025. However, this recovery case, creates an opening for us. We have segmented the market in two main groups. First, the civic anchors. We believe these are long term residents with deep neighborhood roots. And according to research, market data shows that around half of civic participants in urban areas are motivated by volunteering the direct community impact. So they don't need high returns, they need proof that their investment directly improves their block. Second, the retail investors. Again, the research stated that individual investors set a record for municipal bond trading in 2024 with 14.5 million trades, which is three consecutive years of record volume. So this often these are often younger, tech comfortable residents who can access the traditional 5,000 minimum entry point. So our primary target audience is civic anchors, long-term Detroit residents with strong neighborhood ties. They have demonstrated willingness to invest in the community when barriers are removed. And the secondary audience is retail investors, obviously, which we will pursue after establishing credibility with the anchors. Okay, so positioning. For positioning, I am getting help from a paper conducted by Adelajas and colleagues in 2024. In their paper, they have looked at financial inclusion through fintech and solutions for unbanked and underbanked populations. So, our positioning strategy is about narrative reversal. Currently, municipal finance is positioned as extraction. That means money leaves the community to enrich distant Wall Street investors. But in ABC, we will reposition microbonds as community wealth building. Here's our positioning statement: invest in infrastructure you use daily, and the return stays in your community. We believe this directly addresses what our market analysis revealed. Residents want to trust and inclusion. Also, we want to lower the entry point to $500 and removing complex paperwork, which is always a problem. So we position ABC not as another financial product, but as a tool for collective community action. So the psychological shift is very important for us. We are not asking them to be investors, we are asking them to be civic partners. Okay. Market tactics. How do we reach civic angers? Good question. We won't use generic advertising at all. That doesn't work in communities with low institutional trust. Instead, our strategy leverages what market data calls network centrality. Again, the research stated that certain people drive civic participants: pastors, coaches, block club presidents, community organizers, etc., etc. So these are the people neighbors listen to and trust. So our tactic is to recruit these individuals as community captains. We train them on the platform and ask them to be our first adopters. Their simple message: I bought a bond to fix our bridge. And again, research shows uh, on community engagement with low income citizen, which confirms our approach. When a trusted embedded community figure validates a program, we think it overcomes a skepticism that no outside company can address alone. And by the way, this isn't manipulation. It is how community actually makes decision. In addition, again, research on community engagement shows that around half of the potential participants want to actively volunteer. So, by positioning investing as a form of civic volunteering, not wealth building, we tap into that existing motivation anyway. Okay, about marketing channels and message we want to send. So, let's be explicit about where and how we will reach this audience. Our marketing will operate across five key channels that have been retrieved from academic papers. First, local community events and neighborhood meetings. This is where civic anchors naturally gather. Second, faith organizations. Churches are the primary gathering space for many long term residents. Third, block clubs and neighborhood associations. These are formal structures where we can present directly. Fourth, city emails list and mailing list. Detroit city government maintains resident databases we can leverage. And fifth, the platform dashboard itself. So the blockchain dashboards becomes a marketing tool. Residents see real-time progress and transparency, and each channel will carry a consistent message tailored to that audience, which is trust, transparency, and tangible impact. Okay, we have looked into the very important concept, removing the complexity barriers. We must address a critical insight from our market research. And according to academic papers, Physical presence to a financial institution matters far less than the simplicity of the process. People avoid investments when procedures are confusing or paperwork is extensive. So, our marketing should and will emphasize accessibility. I borrow Steve Jobs' vision about complexity of a system, and our campaign tagline is 3 clicks to fix. We are demonstrating that buying a microbond is simpler than paying a utility bill. From a strategic perspective, this improves what researchers call institutional quality, which means the clarity, efficiency, and trustworthiness of financial systems. Our analysis indicates that improved institutional quality directly increase financial participations. And we will use blockchain not as a buzzword, but as a transparency engine. So residents can verify exactly where their money goes. We are not asking them to trust us. We are giving them tools to verify the facts themselves. And talking about the future opportunities. So obviously the future looking beyond the bridge pilot, where can ABC expand? The municipal bond market is shifting. According to academic research in a municipal market year in review, institutional investors such as banks and insurance companies are exiting. This reducing holdings by nearly 50 billion in 2024, which creates a capital gap that retail and community investors can fill. So we see immediate expansion opportunities in areas such as school facility upgrades, green energy, and water system improvements. Again, in municipal market year report, market data suggests individual investors will continue to grow their presence in municipal finances, that is giving ABC a runway for uh, scaling. Okay, in conclusion, our strategy is grounded in residence data, not assumption. So by recruiting network leaders, removing barriers of complexity, and using blockchain for radical transparency, we believe ABC can successfully launch in Detroit. We are not just selling bonds, we are proving that Detroit's residents can fund Detroit's infrastructure and that their investment builds both physical infrastructure and community wealth. Okay, that's the end of my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it and thank you for your time.